Hello viewers, welcome back to the course on scientific computing using MATLAB. So today we are going to discuss the lecture 19. So in the previous lecture we have started with some basics of the matrices, so we will continue with this one. So today we will discuss with some other form of matrices, and so we start with the maybe symmetric matrix. So symmetric matrix means I have a matrix A, so that is a n cross n matrix. Now I take the transpose of that matrix. So if that is equal to the matrix itself, then it is called the symmetric matrix. So in this case, what is going to do? So if you from here, if you see that my matrix A is A11, A12, A1n, A21, A22, A2n, and this is the last one AN1, AN2, ANn. And if transpose, if I take the transpose of A, and that should be equal to 0, so which gives me that my Aij should be equal to same as Aji. So this element and this element should be same, this element and this element should be same. So this is, if this is true, then for all I j such that I is not equal to j, because the diagonal elements is the same one, is the, because except the diagonal elements all the elements should be same. So this condition is true other than the diagonal elements. So then it is called the symmetric matrix. Second one is, we also call it skew symmetric. So in the skew symmetric matrix, this everything is same, A transpose, only condition is that this is equal to minus A. So in this case what is happening? Suppose I have a matrix A, I just take A1, 1, 2, 1, 3, A21, 2, 2, 2, 3, A31, 3, 2, 3, 3. So I will just take the 3 by 3 matrix, and then when I do, I will take its transpose A12, A13, A21, 31, A22, A33 and A32, A23. So this is my transpose. Now this is equal to minus of A. So minus of A is this one. Minus A21, minus A22, minus A23, minus A31, minus A32, minus A33. So if this is equal to this, then from here I can see that my A1 should be equal to minus of A1. So from here one thing is true, that 2 of A1 will be 0. So that gives me the A1 will be 0. So the diagonal elements, now here we are talking about real matrices. So real matrix means all the elements of the matrix A are real. So in this case from here I can see that my diagonal elements A1 should be 0, and similarly A22 will be 0 and A33 will be 0. So in the skew symmetric matrix, the first condition is that the diagonal element should be 0. We are talking about the real matrix. And then from here I can see that my A12 should be same as minus A21. My 13 should be same as minus A31 and so on. So whatever the value, so I suppose I take a matrix A, and then it is 0, 0, 0, it is 1, it is minus 1, it is minus 2, it is 2, 3, minus 3. So it is a skew symmetric matrix. So it is a skew symmetric matrix, because 1 it is just the minus of that one. minus 2, 2, 3, minus 3. So, this is an example of the skew symmetric matrix. Then we define the another matrix is orthogonal matrix. So, orthogonal matrix means whenever I have A transpose, that is equal to the A inverse of the matrix. It means A transpose A should be unit matrix I. So, in that case the matrix A is called orthogonal. In orthogonal matrix, orthogonal means we know that the perpendicular to each other. So, if you see the column vector of the matrix, they will be orthogonal to each other. So, that is called the orthogonal matrix. We also know that determinant of A transpose is equal to same as the determinant of the matrix. So, from here I can write A transpose A determinant should be equal to determinant of I, that is 1, and I know that A, B, I have two matrices. So, the determinant can be written like this one. So, from here I can write determinant is equal to 1, and the determinant will be same as this one. So, from here I can write that this is equal to square is equal to 1. So, from here I can write this is equal to plus minus 1. So, if I have a orthogonal matrix, then the determinant of the orthogonal matrix is always either plus 1 or minus 1. So, that is the way we can find the determinant of an orthogonal matrix. So, this is the condition about the orthogonal matrix. Now, we can just go a little bit ahead and then suppose we have complex valued matrices. Like suppose I have a matrix A and its elements are 1, 1 plus I, 2 I, 3 like this one. So, this in this case the elements value of the elements is a complex number also. So, this is a complex valued matrices or complex matrices. So, in this case if I want to define the symmetric matrix, so there is a condition that Hermitian matrix. So, Hermitian means in this case I will define A star. So, A star will be A conjugate transpose. So, if I take A here, so A star will be, first I will take the 1, 3, I will take the conjugate, and then so this will be 1 minus I minus 2I. So, this is my A star. I have taken the conjugate. So, conjugate will be 1 minus I or minus 2I, and then I will take the transpose. So, this will be the A star. So, in the Hermitian matrix is, so A star, if A star is equal to A, this is my condition, then matrix, then the matrix A is called Hermitian matrix. So, that is my Hermitian matrix. For example, I have A. So, this is maybe suppose I take here 1 plus I minus 2I and 2 plus 3I and 4. Now, if I want to define A star, so A star will be 1 minus I, 2 minus 3I, 2I, 4. So, if A star should be equal to A, then one thing is true, that this diagonal element should be same, the first of all. So, if I take the conjugate, if the diagonal elements are complex, then definitely its conjugate will be different from the previous one. So, from here one condition is true, that the diagonal elements should be real. So, the diagonal element should be purely real, only then we can construct a Hermitian matrix. The next is skew Hermitian. So, in the skew Hermitian, so now I can in the skew Hermitian the same thing is there, whenever A star is equal to minus A, then it is a skew Hermitian matrix. So, in this case the diagonal elements should be purely imaginary. So, it should be purely imaginary. In the real sense, we have seen that the diagonal element should be 0. So, you can say that the real part should be 0. So, it should be purely imaginary. And the third one is so it is unitary matrix. So, unitary matrix is the analogous to the orthogonal matrix. So, this is whenever A star is equal to A inverse, such that my A star A is equal to I or A star. So, then it is called the unitary matrix. Okay. So, this is the same way as the symmetric matrix, skew symmetric and orthogonal. So, this is all about some matrices. Now, we define some properties. So, some properties of the matrix formulation. The first one is A determinant is same as determinant of transpose. The second one is that if I have multiplied two matrix and I am finding the determinant, so this is determinant. So, this is same as A determinant to B, this one. Third one is A plus B is not equal to, fourth one is if I multiply two matrix, take the transpose, so that is equal to B transpose A transpose. Fifth one is I can take maybe more than two, so it will be C transpose B transpose A transpose. Then the sixth one I can write as, if I have multiplied two matrix and I am take the inverse, so this is equal to B inverse A inverse. Seventh, A transpose inverse is equal to same as A inverse and then taking the transpose. So, this is we can define. So, this is a few properties we want to define for matrix. Now, we start with the main course, and that will deal starting with the elementary operation. Elementary transformations. So, elementary transformation. So, what is the elementary transformation? So, suppose I have a matrix A, that is, suppose I am taking the square matrix n cross n. Now, what I can do is that the first one is that interchanging the rows or columns. So, I can define, suppose I have a rows represented by R. So, I can write ij. So, it means I am interchanging ith and jth column, jth row, rows, or if I write Cij, so that is the columns. Second one is that if I write like alpha times R I plus R j. So, in this case what I am doing? I am multiplying the ith row is multiplied by a scalar alpha and added to the jth row. So, the effect will be up to the jth row. So, in this case it is interchanging the rows, and this is multiplying some rows and adding or subtracting to the another row. So, these are the two operations are called the elementary operations, or the transformation is called the elementary transformation. So, this one we can say do like this one. Suppose I have a matrix A and let us take this matrix 1, 2, minus 1, maybe 2, 3, 1, 0, 1, minus 1. So, just I am taking this matrix, and now suppose what I do is I take R12. So, I apply this operation R12. So, generally we put this arrow and we write R12. It means I am applying the elementary operation interchanging the first and the second row. So, this one I can write as, so I will interchange the first and second row. So, I will write 2, 3, 1, 1, 2, minus 1, 0, 1, minus 1. So, this is the outcome after applying this operation R12. But what I can do is that I take a unit matrix, identity matrix I. So, identity matrix is this one 1 0 0 0 1 0 0 0 1, and I apply the same process R12. So, what I do is it becomes 0 1 0 1 0 0 0 0 1. So, that I call it E12. So, E means elementary matrix after interchanging the rows 1 and 2. Now, what I do is that I will apply this E12 into A. So, I will pre-multiply the matrix A with E12. So, let us see what will happen. So, this is my 0 1 0 1 0 0 0 0 1. Multiply with the matrix 1 2 minus 1 2 3 1 and 0 1 minus 1, and let us see what will happen. So, this will be multiplied by this row. So, only second coefficient will come. Similarly, this will multiply this. So, 3 will come, 1 will come only. Now, I multiply by the second, the first will come. So, 1 2 minus 1 and then 0 1 minus 1. So, this is, if you see, then this is same as this one. So, if instead of applying the operation directly, if I take the elementary operations on the unit matrix, I will get the elementary transformation or elementary matrix and P multiply. So, I will get the same output as we are getting from here. So, So, this is the what we have done is this one. Now, suppose instead of pre multiplying I will post multiply. So, my A is 1 2 minus 1 2 3 1 0 1 minus 1 and then 0 1 0 1 0 0 0 0 1. So, this one we are applying. Now, I multiply this with this row. So, only 2 will come, 3 and 1, 1 2 0 minus 1 1 minus 1. So, this will come. So, in this case you will see that first and the second columns has been interchanged. So, earlier it was 1 2 0 2 3 1, it is now 2 3 1 1 2 0. So, it means if I do the post multiplying, then the same operation will be applying on the matrix in the column form, and when I do the pre multiply, the same operation apply on the rows of that matrix. So, that is called the post multiplying and the pre multiplying of the matrix with the elementary matrices. So, this E 1 2 we call it elementary matrix or elementary transformation, because in linear algebra we know that the linear transformation can be represented by the matrix. So, this is called the elementary transformation. So, this we can apply. So, now we start with our main syllabus. So, let us so now onward we have a system A, that is n cross n, x is equal to b, and we want to solve this system. Okay. So, let us write this system as a star. Now, there are two ways to solve this one, to solve this system. So, two ways. The first one is direct method. So, this is the direct method. The second one is iterative method. So, let us write the definition of direct method. So, these methods produce the exact solution of the system Ax is equal to b after a finite number of steps. So, they give you exact solution almost, if I ignoring the round of error. So, you know that the round of error is always there, but suppose I ignore this one, then this method produces the exact solution of the system after finite number of steps. So, that is called my direct method. And what about iterative method? So, these type of methods, so these methods give a sequence of approximate solutions which converges when the number of steps tends to infinity. So, that is called the iterative methods. So, in the iterative methods we have a sequence of approximate solution, and that solution converges when the number of steps tends to infinity. So, in this case at every iteration the solution is becoming approximate solution becomes more accurate, and when the number of steps tends to infinity, only then you will get the exact solution. So, that is called the iterative methods. So, let us start with the first one is the direct method. Direct methods. Okay. So, the first one is we are dealing here is the Gauss elimination. Gauss elimination method. So, in the Gauss elimination method what we are going to do is we have a system Ax is equal to B and this is n cross n matrix. Now, what I do, I will write matrix A and then its right hand side vector. So, this matrix is called augmented matrix. So, this is the augmented matrix. Now, what I will do that I will apply my elementary operations on this matrix and I will convert this matrix into another matrix, that is I can call it U C. So, this is converting the matrix into the upper triangular matrix and that is the right hand side vector. So, we are converting this system from this augmented system to the augmented system using my Gauss elimination. And then using back substitution we get our exact solution. So, in this case we get our exact solution, and from our knowledge of matrices we know that then the matrix A and U are equivalent matrices. So, A and U will be the equivalent matrices. Okay. So, that is the Gauss elimination method. So, in this case, and we know that the A and U are equivalent matrices, then rank of A is same as rank of U. So, that is also another condition of the equivalent matrices, that the rank of A is equal to the rank of U, because in the equivalent matrices only the rank will be same and the other nature of the matrix will not change. If A is a singular matrix, then U will be also singular. If A is non-singular, U will be non-singular. So, applying the elementary operation, we cannot change the nature of the matrix, only that we are reducing the matrix into the some easier form, that is upper triangular matrix or the lower triangular matrix, and then we are able to solve the system with the help of back substitution if it is upper triangular, or the forward substitution if it is a lower triangular, but the rank will be same. So, this is the Gauss elimination method. So, we will stop today here, and in the next lecture we will continue with the Gauss elimination method for this one. So, thanks for viewing, thanks very much.